Hi, welcome back to Add-on YouTube channel. I am Benedict Wong, Regional Director for Add-on. Together with me, I've invited speakers, Louis Tan from Insightz Tech.
Yes.
Right. Hi, Louis, welcome back.
Thank you for having me here.
In the last session, we talked about an overview of cybersecurity.
Yes.
All right. We also talked about certain programs to target, certain areas, right? So this session, can you share with us, more about the practicality, some of the perhaps your experience that come across, as
Sure.
well as what the lessons learned, right? What the takeaways?
Okay. Yeah. One of the things that we always come across in the cyber world is that we tend to trust, right? We go to a certain sites, we think that the site itself is what it is who they claim to be. But many often, if we are not aware, we can actually fall prey to the fact that these are not necessarily legitimate sites. And we have to be careful. And how do we know that? Is that typically we don't respond, right? If there is an email sent to you, for example, and there is a link there, and you do not know where this email comes from, the best way is to ignore it and not to respond. Right? If there is a pop-up when you go to a certain site, right? And these are some of the practical steps that we always share with some of our workshops, in our workshops itself, in our training. Don't respond. Right? They ask you to click on certain things, on the pop-ups, or even some of the sites itself that advertise, and you do not know the sites you visit. Right? You were either redirected from somewhere else, or you went to it by your own. Try to always have like you mentioned in the previous session, a culture of vigilance. Right? Always be vigilant to know that whatever you're doing on the internet itself can be tracked. So the best way, if you are not sure, don't respond. Right? That's one of the practical steps that I can share. And some of the experiences that we have, well, good and bad experiences. Unfortunately, some of the customers that subscribe to our programs itself, we protect them, right? We protect them, and we picked up some of the attacks that's imminent, that we see that's happening in the network itself. And in one particular case I can bring up is for this particular customer itself, it was in the hospitality industry. And what happened was that we see a system, what we call an asset, a system itself that is flagging up a lot of alerts, right? Showing up a lot of red flags in our monitoring systems. Our analyst was notified. They saw it, they analyzed, and realized that this is something that is warrant attention from the customer. So we pick up the phone, call the customers, and notify him. Now, unbeknownst to us, the customer itself, they actually spin up a system that was an old system. They want to reuse the system itself because of cost consideration. So they spin up the old system. It was not in the asset list that we are monitoring originally. Right? So the system was spin up, and apparently, of course, it was already impacted by some of the malwares that was out there. It was not picked up by the endpoint security solution that they have installed on the system. So we actually saw it, we notified the customers, and the customers took action upon our recommendation. They respond, and they did a scan of the system about half an hour later, and then they could not find anything. And so what they did was that they request for an update of their signatures. Some of the systems, that the security system they put in place, they updated it, and they did a scan again. And true enough, it shows up that something was there. Right? Well, that was an experience that we had, and it's how we help our customers to be protected. And we do this continually, 24/7, 365. When the customers are asleep, we are still awake. Right? We are still protecting the customers. And of course, there are also other experiences which are not so good. The horror stories, right? Things that already happened. And before they engage us, there's a ransomware that already occurred. Right? You see a ransom note, it's like, is it game over? Right? Not necessarily true. Not necessarily true. We do need to take steps to quickly respond to the situation, investigate, find out the root cause of the issue. And hopefully we want to weed out the problem as quickly as possible, right? When a ransomware does hit, it doesn't mean the end of the world, right? It does mean something that we need to respond very quickly in a very efficient manner. So we help our customers in many instances for ransomware, where we walk them through not just only the investigation, finding reports, but a plan of action, how we can then sweep the swamp. Right? They have a lot of issues, try to address it, clean the swamp, and then take steps proactively, implement some programs so that these things will not happen again. Right? And this is very important. But it's also not just about technology, it's also about putting in place certain programs, awareness, training, right? A mindset change, right? To have a culture of vigilance in the company itself. And then also walk them through in a blueprint. So they might have some initiative in 1 year, 2 years, 3 years down the road, and how we can help them.
Right. Okay. Well, thanks, Louis, for sharing this insightful information, right, about this experience and so on. I think the next session, maybe we will talk more about the future plans. What's the long-term plan that we look at certain programs. Right? Yeah. Okay. Well, thank you for watching. Right. So stay tuned and do subscribe to our YouTube channel.